Hello, everybody. Welcome to HD Movie Talk.
Hello.
God, you are the worst. I am Fluffy Duffy, aka Harlan Duffy, and I'm joined here today with my co-host, Dean's Beans.
Hello, I'm Dean's Beans, or you can just call me Dean.
You know, I really tried finding a different co-host for today because I just really I just knew you were going to get up to some shenanigans.
Oh, you don't? I've got a big prank planned for later.
Do you really?
I'll come up with one. No, I won't.
Please do. Now, if you don't, everybody's going to be disappointed, and they will leave a negative review.
I was hoping to transition to prank TikToks instead of movie stuff.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, today is another episode of news and reviews. Or guess what? Guess what we talk about? Dean, take a solid guess what we talk about.
News.
Yeah,
and
we're halfway there.
Views.
Oh, you were so close. It's actually reviews, but it's okay. You'll get it next time, buddy.
Thanks. I'll try to remember.
So yeah, we're talking about news that has happened for the past 3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Just about. So let's get into it, starting with some Batgirl talk. Stuff that didn't quite make it into the DC fandom.
For some reason.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
We got this relative nobody, Jacob Scipio, who is in an undisclosed role in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the big headliner is Brendan Fraser.
I did think you were about to call Brendan Fraser a nobody, and I was gonna.
No. I love that man.
And is it rumored he's playing Firefly?
No, it's confirmed.
Oh, it's confirmed because he's the villain and he's Firefly, which is a weird villain choice, I think.
It is, and I wonder, what is it? Is he gonna get? Is Brendan Fraser gonna get jacked? Is he gonna, or is it just gonna be like a bigger dude?
I kind of like the idea of just a schlubby Firefly, you know.
I don't know anything about Firefly. Do you?
The only stuff I know is from the Arkham games, and all I know from that is Firefly. I think he's like a firefighter who starts fires, so then he has fires to put out, or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Something like that. I know he starts enough fires, and yeah, and he's got a jetpack, which is fun. It's just a bit of like a C-list Batman villain to choose.
I mean, it could be interesting, but I don't know. It's an HBO Max show, so maybe they didn't have enough.
The question is how mean were Warner Brothers? Were they like, oh, can we use Two-Face? And they're like, no, you can't. Can we use Penguin? No, you can't. And just go through this. Like, hey, can we use Firefly? Who's that? Oh yeah, sure, you can use him. It's an interesting.
That should be interesting. I know this show or this project has kind of been in development hell for the past solid half of a decade. So at least it's getting somewhere.
It's getting somewhere. I'm still looking forward to it.
Yeah. Next.
What do we have next?
The rumors of a World War Hulk movie.
This is interesting, but feasible.
It's possible, but I kind of personally doubt it's going to happen.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I feel like it would be a very interesting next step for the next big crossover thing.
Because here's the thing, it's with this whole multiverse thing happening, literally anything can happen.
Yeah.
It can literally be at this point, any studio can do anything they want because of the multiverse. So maybe this is going to be Mark Ruffalo. It could be a new guy. It could be Edward Norton. But I think if I'm correct, it's rumored to begin shooting in 2023.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard as well. Which would be 2024, 2025 release. So I think it's a possibility and would be an interesting team up, but it's hard to say for sure when we haven't really seen She-Hulk or anything like that.
Right. I'm thinking like it's possible, but also like this is also a movie, so you'd have some Universal dabbling in there.
Yeah, maybe Disney have just finally decided to give them enough money to shut them up, because I think the issue is Marvel and Disney can make what they want. They just have to give some of the profit to Universal.
Right.
I think is the deal they had.
So that should be interesting, but nothing's confirmed, so I'm not gonna let myself get too excited for it.
Clearly they are clearly they're changing what's up with the Hulk though from the Shang-Chi credits.
Yes.
So who knows what they're planning with him.
There's an endless world of possibilities.
Yeah, it'll be cool though. It'll be cool.
Yes, very cool. Now going on to a much, much, much less cool subject. I mean, this is it for our audio listeners that, or I guess visual listeners that haven't seen the slide yet. I don't know how Dean's gonna
visual listeners are normally called watchers.
Anyways, the Alec Baldwin tragedy on the set of Rust.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's hard to talk about when we don't have a lot of information about it, and we're not like sure who's to blame and what happened and everything like that. But it is having some interesting ramifications on just the overall industry.
To anybody who isn't aware of what we're talking about, Alec Baldwin is the star of this movie called Rust, and he was handed what he had believed to be like a gun with a blank in it, and he was with the cinematographer and director, and it was a close-up on the barrel of the gun, and he shot the gun with it thinking it was going to be a blank, but there ended up being a live bullet in the gun, killing the cinematographer and injuring the director. So.
And now Dwayne Johnson has come out and said there won't be any real guns on the set of his movies, and other actors and studios and directors have said similar things.
What's interesting what The Rock said is like he said it was going to be a rubber gun, and they were going to fix it up in post.
But the thing is, they do a lot of that already. It's just we don't really notice.
I didn't know that's what they usually did. I thought that was actually quite interesting.
Yeah. The thing, sometimes you can tell obviously it's a fake gun, but sometimes you don't, and a lot of the time it's a fake gun and we just don't know.
Right. So I mean, this is an extreme tragedy, and it's very very, very sad, but it does bring up a really interesting question for Hollywood that I was never really quite aware of.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not just the fact that they're using like live guns and stuff on set is the issue, because with Rust in the weeks prior to that, there'd been reports of like possible striking and working people on set too hard and stuff like that, which is also to blame. So it's
a very sticky situation where
it's a complicated thing that is tricky to talk about.
Where like nobody's to blame, but also like everybody's to blame. It's very
it's a shame, but
yeah, it's a tragedy.
Got any happier news next?
It depends. Do you like Mark Wahlberg?
No.
Do you like Tom Holland?
I don't. I like Tom Holland. I don't have much of an issue with Mark Wahlberg. Do you not? I think you might have said this. Have you done fun facts about Mark Wahlberg? I think. I don't know if you said this in the video, but did you say about
crimes?
That he said he could have stopped 9/11?
Oh. No, I didn't say that.
Because you said he was on the flight, didn't you?
He was on the flight.
And then in an interview once, he was like, "Oh yeah, I could have stopped it." I always think of that when I say Mark Wahlberg.
That's kind of funny, but I'm not.
I don't have much opinion on Mark Wahlberg. I just haven't seen him act in anything when I've gone, "Wow, he's a good actor."
I think he's a good actor. He's been in.
I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, to be honest. That's why I said that. Anyway, Uncharted trailer, something that looks better than Mark Wahlberg. Have you played? You don't have a PlayStation. So you haven't played any of the games, have you? I haven't either.
So we're
Uncharted games,
at a very stupid point of view.
So
it look good.
It looks pretty good. It looks interesting. I like Tom Holland. I think looks like there's some cool action here. I feel like it's going to be a pretty good, fine movie.
I feel people are complaining about Tom Holland is too young to play the role because now if you look at Uncharted 4, he's like an older dude.
Yeah.
But like they're doing this as a sense of making it a franchise.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the the Nathan Drake, I think, is a character of Uncharted. He has gotten older. So like it's gonna make sense for him to age and they could make this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that was
Tom
a
Holland
big
will probably get older too.
theoretically.
We don't have any proof because actually no, he does look a lot older than he did back in the day, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks a lot older than he did in Civil War. But
yeah.
and
Mark Wahlberg does look like his dad, I think.
Which is, I think is kind of a purposeful thing, but it should be interesting. Ignoring all the politics, I think I like Mark Wahlberg as an actor. So I'm gonna see this for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'll watch it. Okay. Oh, on to more Tom Holland things.
Yeah. Well, I spent a lot of time on these next couple slides. We got the Empire magazine and the Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah, I like the Empire photos and the cover on that.
We this is all stuff we've seen before.
It doesn't reveal much new, but it still looks cool.
A lot of people, that one with Tom Holland running away, a lot of people had trouble with that one. They were kind of frustrated. But there have been theories. It does look
quite funny, to be fair, doesn't it?
There have been theories that there are some villains photoshopped out of it.
Yeah.
He's running.
And also, there's I've seen on TikTok there's the clips of like Tobey Maguire running away from Green Goblin and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
People go, oh, he doesn't run away from anyone.
So this should be interesting.
Yeah. That's one way of wording this movie.
Next is the poster that came out last night. No. It doesn't look.
I've had people messaging me about some conspiracy theories surrounding this poster, and I have been planning a longer YouTube video just about the marketing for this movie because I think what they're doing is quite interesting. Because it was leaked on the side of a bus. Obviously, the bus version. Skit about it. Pardon?
You see my skit about it that I did last night?
Yeah. That was. I think that was the first thing I saw the poster on because I woke up. I opened my phone. I think that was the first TikTok on my phone. And I was like, no, actually, I watched the first 3 seconds. I went, I'm going to go look at the poster. And I looked at the poster and then I watched the rest of the video.
Good job coming back to the video.
That's how I woke up this morning. But it's weird because the other poster is like quite different, but not massively different.
The one on the side of the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, and also it's weird. The really weird part, I think, is that Spider-Man is literally just a screenshot from the actual trailer. Have you seen this?
Yeah. It literally is.
That it's just a screenshot from the trailer. I honestly, I don't know. I feel like no, they are just really relying on the fans to like publicize this movie for them. And it's so weird that they left this trailer so late.
Yeah, because it's like the movie's literally a month away.
Why they could have, and everyone was like, they're just keeping the trailer because it's gonna have it's gonna have Andrew and Toby in it, or something.
I heard a rumor that the trailer is gonna get dropped tonight on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, actually.
But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, so it doesn't reveal anything else. So I don't know why they waited. Why didn't they release this when they released the first trailer?
I don't know, and I don't like people saying like, oh, because obviously Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin are in it, but people are going, oh my gosh, that's Sandman and Electro.
Yeah,
I don't count it to be Sandman and Electro until I see Sandman and Electro.
I think they're hiding Electro's design because unlike Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin, his design is actually changing.
Right, and people are commenting like that sand that could be sand or it could be dust. We don't know.
Poster just fell off my wall.
Which poster?
Let me turn the WandaVision.
That
can stay hanging there for now. Yeah, that could be just like a trail of dust. Like the lightning is obviously a nod to Electro. That's not even like a. It's just a bit of like dust behind him. It's barely.
Yeah.
Like I could probably defeat that Sandman. Just put him in a jar or something.
Get a vacuum.
Yeah, why? Just fully fell off the wall.
You can hang it back up if you want.
No, it's all right. It fell off this morning as well. It's annoying me today.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know. It's not an amazing poster, is it?
No, it's not. It's.
And I don't get why they've kept it for so long.
Yeah, like what were they like holding back to reveal?
That honestly, I really think they're just going, oh, we're not going to post anything about this movie, and that's going to like make everyone else publicize our movie way better than we could, because it's happening.
Well, I don't think that's smart, because for the group that we are in on TikTok, and I did think just like on social media, everybody's in like this fandom of like, oh, what's going to be revealed next, but like we're maybe 50% of their audience. The other 50% is just like the average moviegoer.
But then, to be fair, I don't think this poster is going to do much to get them in there, because I think the average moviegoer will watch it or they won't watch it, and like stuff like a poster isn't gonna.
Right, and they probably don't even know that this movie's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the trailer in the cinema enough times now.
Oh, I haven't seen it once.
Have you not? It's shown in my cinema every time I go in the UK. Interesting. Yeah, I got the Batman trailer for the first time when I went to watch. What was that? I think it was when I went to watch Eternals for the first time. I got the Batman trailer and I got so excited.
When I saw Dune, I saw the Batman trailer, but it was the first one that was released like
last
year's. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got the I keep getting the first Morbius trailer that was released last year, but I got the Batman trailer and I was literally showed the first shot and I was like punching my friend in the arm. It's like, it's the Batman.
Can they just play this instead of Eternals? Yeah, just a repeat of the trailer. Anyway.
And finally, Spider-Man No Way Home news. We've got one more news and reviews about Spider-Man No Way Home news, and then it's Spider-Man No Way Home week.
Oh my god, you're totally right. Yeah.
So we'll shut up about this soon, guys. 2 more weeks of news and reviews and we're done with it.
We got some more pictures. I think the only 2 notable things is on the top left corner, we see Otto Octavius, but if you look at his like octopus arms, it kind of looks like it has some nanotech, like Spidey's suit on it.
Yeah, it's just red detailing, and everyone's like, "Oh, I hate it because Tony Stark is." Oh, Tony Stark.
Maybe they can get over themselves. And and at the bottom picture, I saw a theory online that if you look at like the ventilation stuff, it looks like Andrew Garfield's basement.
See, I've seen that, but then I've also seen other pictures that kind of show that it's that kind of make it look like the basement of the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is also viable. So both are interesting.
Both are interesting, but it's I just thought that was something to add.
And Lizard and Sandman have been confirmed.
Yes.
So they are doing one villain. We've had one villain from every previous Spider-Man movie confirmed.
Yes, I believe so.
So yeah, because we've had Green Goblin confirmed, Dr. Octopus confirmed, Sandman confirmed, Lizard confirmed, Electro confirmed. So that's one from each of the non-Tom Holland ones. So then the Sinister Six member, Vulture or Mysterio, I think.
It's probably going to be Mysterio.
I don't think it's going to. Yeah, I think it'll be Mysterio. I don't think it's going to be Rhino or Venom.
Dude, could you imagine if like at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, like Spider-Man's about to die and then all the villains turn into drones and it's just like Mysterio the whole time?
People would get so annoyed.
That would be like, I would honestly laugh so hard.
I would enjoy that because then they're taking a risk, you know. I feel like this movie does feel like it's going to be very like by committee. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not very. I mean, John Watts isn't much of an auteur, but very by committee. So I just want it to be a good movie. I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
Me too. Like, I hope like I can walk out and be like, man.
Not like it's kind of like, oh, that was cool to see those people again, but that movie was crap.
I hope it, in the most polite and respectful way possible, I hope it isn't like Endgame.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean.
Like, I hope it's like an actual, like, or like Infinity War too. I hope it's like an actual story instead of just like constant climax, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's an interest. I feel like it will be constant climax because I want this movie to be good if you haven't seen any of the other Spider-Man movies and like don't know about it. Do you know what I mean? I want this to like standing on its own feet as an actual good movie instead of a good like Easter eggs.
I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see in 6 weeks.
It's 6 weeks. Holy moly. Okay, on to some awesome news.
Yes, this has made me happy. Bill Murray in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania. What an absolute legend.
Who's he going to be?
Garfield.
We don't know.
Oh, I thought it was confirmed to be Garfield.
No. Yeah, you got in your world confused. Actually confirmed to be Star-Lord's stepdad.
Oh,
so
nice. I think it would be cool if he's the one I've seen online is him as Scott Lang's dad, which I think would be interesting.
That's what I heard too, and that's probably what it's going to be.
But it would be cool. I'm happy to see, or just a really like camp supervillain from an alternate universe or something like that would be funny as well.
What I heard, my friend is really into like Bill Murray and Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And he says that the way Bill Murray doesn't have an agent.
Yeah.
He has a phone, and people call him and ask if they want to be in the movie, and he says yes or no.
Yeah, he said, I saw in the original interview when he announced this to like I literally told a German newspaper. He said, I don't really want to be in the Marvel universe. I just really like the director. Which is weird because it's Peyton Reed. I don't know where he's gone. Oh yes, Peyton Reed. What has
Peyton Reed done?
I don't actually know what he's done apart from Ant-Man. Should I look this up? But I just had a thought because it's going to be Kang, so there's like a chance it's time traveling. What if he's Scott Lang from the future?
Oh, that could be cool.
I reckon that he'd be him and Paul Rudd, him playing a future version of Paul Rudd. I think would be pretty cool. Oh, he did Yes Man. I've seen that movie.
Oh, okay.
That still, I don't know why he watched Yes Man and then gone, yes, I'm going to be
Yes Man, like the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, the Jim Carrey movie, and then that's the only movie I've heard of.
Huh.
He seems to have done like a lot of weird rom-com type things.
Yeah, I'm not a big Peyton Reed guy.
No, him and John Watts on my bottom tier of MCU directors.
Because they're just bland and forgettable.
And also I get them confused. Which one's doing Fantastic Four again?
John Watts.
Great. I don't have a preference between the two.
I think honestly I'd prefer John Watts over Peyton Reed.
Fair enough. Yeah, those two, Alan Taylor, who did The Dark World.
Well, he hasn't had a second go. Peyton Reed and John Watts.
And Alan Taylor, have you heard he wants to release the Thor: The Dark World cut?
Wait, what?
He wants to release his own version of the Snyder Cut for Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, nobody wants that. Don't let him.
No,
Disney Plus.
Disney are not going to do that because it would mean that Disney have to admit that they've made a mistake, and Disney will never do that.
Smart.
Yeah. Okay. This is possible casting that I am very excited about, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Hey, you're talking to a fellow Jim Carrey, not over here. Okay.
Just seeing these two pictures next to each other, it would work so well.
It would be really interesting.
I just go as camp as possible. Just be as dumb and as goofy.
So we haven't addressed what we're looking at.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's a good point. Guess. People at home, guess right now if you're just listening.
Okay, you got the guess?
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
go.
Is Jim Carrey rumored to be starring as MODOK in the MCU?
Yeah, and like I think there was like a list of like multiple projects he's going to appear in. Like, I think it's gonna be in She-Hulk and a couple stuff like that, just in like small parts, which I think is quite an interesting idea. Having him be like just at the start of every movie, just having the hero beat him up.
That would be awesome.
I really like this casting just because if like I've been wanting them to introduce MODOK for a while just because it's weird and I like weird things, you know.
I'm not too familiar with MODOK, but just the fact that Jim Carrey is coming to the MCU has me excited.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's not a lot to MODOK. He's just a big head who likes to kill people. He's machine own no, he's like mechanical organism designed only for killing. That's it.
Mechanical design only. Oh, interesting.
And it's just weird and dumb. And I think like if you're doing MODOK, you've got to make it weird and dumb because you can't do a serious version of MODOK.
Do you know what this screenshot is from? Like what game this is from?
That's the Avengers game.
Do you know if he was dumb and stupid in that?
No, not massively. No, he wasn't, because throughout the course of the game, his head kept growing because he had like an illness or something like that. And like they tried to do it seriously, but if you do MODOK, he's kind of just, and they didn't make his. He still has a body. You know what I mean? He just needs to be arms and legs and head.
Yeah. See that, because that's funny.
Yeah. He's got two. He's still two. His head is too small here. So apparently he's rumored to be in She-Hulk and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
This should be fun. It's whenever Jim Carrey's on screen, I always get excited. So
he doesn't do bad performances. He just does bad movies. I'm trying to think now. What's he been in that's bad?
Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Yeah, but he's still charming enough in that, I think.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that for a while, so I can't.
No, neither have I. I liked it as a younger person. What they call child. That's it.
A kid.
Talking about from my favorite actor onto my second favorite actor.
Oh boy.
We got another trailer for Morbius. Did it show us anything new?
Yeah, it showed us a lot new.
Yeah, but like anything interesting?
We got our first couple actual good looks at the vampire.
Oh, that's true.
And we got the We Are Venom.
That vampire look. Oh, the Venom thing. That's a bit weird.
We got a lot. We're way more confused now about what universe.
Yeah, but that's kind of Sony's approach with this movie, where they're going to be like, any reference we can, just throw it in. I bet like every reference we got in this trailer was every reference to like the wider Spider-Man world in the movie.
Well, I have a feeling this is going to kind of tie into what we were talking about previously with World War Hulk, where like after Spider-Man No Way Home and after like Multiverse of Madness, like after this whole like multiversal thing, everything is going to be off the wall. There's going to be no rules.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to tie into this. So I don't think there's any point in speculating what universe this is in right now because it's not going to be in any.
And also, I don't care.
Okay.
About this movie. No, I don't know. It's just I was watching it and I was like, the only thing in this trailer that really like interested me is the 3-second shot we got of Matt Smith. And it's the exact same shot we got of Matt Smith in the last trailer.
God, you are so British.
I just love Matt Smith. And they haven't showed us anything else of Matt Smith in this movie, just that one like shot of him walking down a train platform or something. That's all we've seen, and he's supposedly the villain of the movie. So
which should be interesting because technically Morbius is a villain.
Yeah. And I just don't like Jared Leto, you know. Oh, do you know that about me?
Wait, I thought you loved Jared Leto.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sometimes I really wish he would send me used condoms in the mail.
Or dead rats, that too.
Or both, you know. I'm not fussy.
All right.
I'm trying to think. The one bit that I've seen like other people complain about in this trailer is when this scientist goes some sort of bat radar, which made me laugh.
Well, I want you to see this movie.
I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna hate it.
I'm gonna love you. I hope. I really, really hope it's like actually pretty good.
Oh no.
So then like you have no choice but to like it.
But I hope every movie is good is the issue. Like obviously I'd love it if this movie was good, but also I wouldn't because then
Yeah, you would hate it because then you have to talk good about Jared Leto.
I don't know. I watched American Psycho this week and I was like, oh, Jared Leto, that's fine.
He was pretty good. And
He didn't have anything to do really.
is that the first time you've seen American Psycho?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
That's good.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
But no, in American Psycho, like he didn't like that role didn't require anything special. Do you know what I mean? Like most.
Oh yeah, that's
like, and that's not an insult to Jared Leto. I'm just saying, like, I didn't sit there and I go, wow, because I was too busy watching my role model, Patrick Bateman.
Jesus Christ. All right, what's next? We got Gael Garcia Bernal.
We just revealed that news in tangent. we halved the time to do that, didn't we? No, you just got all the information you need now. Put those two things together. So, Gael Garcia Bernal has been cast as Werewolf by Night in I think this is still rumored, is it?
I think it was confirmed.
Oh, okay. In next year's first Marvel Disney Plus Halloween special. 2022, baby.
This isn't like something I'm like, you know, crazy for, but it's still cool that it's happening.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's a cool idea, a Halloween special. Werewolf by Night, I don't know enough about him, but it seems quite like a silly camp character.
Yeah, it should be fun for the Halloween spirit.
And who knows, maybe we'll get Blade or something like that. Maybe we'll get Morbius in it.
You think?
So I won't get my hopes up. I'll just try and...
Moving on. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Its production has been halted. Oh, sorry, I got a serious yawn there. I don't remember this actress's name.
Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright is suffering an injury and needs time to heal. And I used the Fortnite bandage to signify that.
Got my Fortnite pop vinyl. It's still up there.
Oh, I want that. Give it to me. I'll come over to your house.
Sure. Yeah, it's a shame. I think I hope they're not going to need to delay the movie considering they delayed it like 3 weeks ago.
Letitia Wright, she's causing a lot of problems on set of Black Panther.
She has come out and been like, none of that is true. It's all just fake. So I don't know.
What, the vax stuff?
Yeah, she's said in an interview like, oh, none of that's real. No, in an interview she said something like, oh, I'm a professional. I'm not going to go around talking about my like political beliefs on at work. So she wasn't like, oh, go get vaccinated. It's real. But she was like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh.
She said, she didn't say, oh, no, go get vaccinated. She just said, oh, I haven't been saying that on set, which is fine, She doesn't.
Isn't she anti-vax?
Yeah, I think she put something on Twitter or Facebook or something like that.
I don't like that.
But like, as long as she's not like being annoying about it and going around telling it, it's like the Gina Carano thing. If she had just shut up and like kept her political beliefs to herself, then she'd still have her job. And I think that's fair enough,
Yeah.
Just and it's not like Letitia Wright's going to get fired, and it's a shame that this is happening just before she most likely becomes Black Panther.
Right. And maybe this movie will never come out. Who knows?
That'd be interesting. No, it wouldn't. It would be more interesting if it did come out.
Yeah. That would be the most interesting thing.
Okay. On to something that is interesting to me. Is Lightyear. Of the Buzz Lightyear spin-off. I'm not sure how I feel about the name Lightyear, but
it's cool. A lot of people are like, but that's not the voice of Buzz. Like that's. Shut up. It's interesting. I'm gonna see this.
I think it's kind of like they've pitched it as like Pixar's love letter to sci-fi, which I really love the idea of.
Yeah, it looks really pretty. The movie.
Yeah, and like because obviously we don't know anything about it apart from that. And did you see the TikTok I made about this? Because I do have a serious question about this movie that will not be answered at any point, I'm sure.
I think I did, but I don't remember.
Because obviously this is a movie that exists in the Toy Story universe. So this is like a movie that people in the Toy Story universe watch. But in the Toy Story universe, is it animated?
No, it is not animated. This is live action for them. It has to be.
But it looks better than their universe. Do you know what I mean? Maybe animated movies and does animation exist in the Toy Story universe?
Oh, wait, no, they probably don't. They don't have this movie. They just know the story. Yeah,
is this not the like? I don't know. I just want to know the absolute like meta text of all of this. Is it like is it the gritty reboot of Buzz Lightyear? Because that's what it feels like when you watch the trailer.
I think it's just gonna be like a fun like action story with Chris Evans.
I'm looking forward to it. It just hurts my brain.
I think you're thinking too hard.
I am.
Classic.
That's my biggest flaw. Say that in job interviews all the time.
I'm too hard of a thinker.
I think so hard that I just poo myself.
Excuse me?
I haven't made a poo joke in a while. There you go. Okay, on to another trailer, which is also sparse on the details.
The Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
When it comes to a trailer, this is what I expected. Like when I clicked on it, I'm like,
a lot of Boba Fett standing in the desert and stuff.
Yeah, like I'm like, I hope I get some cool looking shots of Boba Fett and have, somewhat of an idea of what's going to happen. And I got that. He's going to be trying to take over as leader of where Jabba used to be.
Yeah, and it does feel like that's entirely like the first episode or like the first 2 episodes. Like it doesn't feel like they've gone much outside of that because it's all like the one sort of location and stuff like that, which I'm fine with. Obviously, I'm just very interested to see like who they bring in. Like they're probably going to bring in they're definitely going to bring in some of the other bounty hunters, like from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. What I find interesting is it was announced that we are going to be getting an Obi-Wan trailer on the 12th.
On Disney Plus Day, yeah.
So why did they drop this?
Yeah, that's true. But maybe they thought, oh, we can't release both of these on the same day because obviously no one's going to watch the Book of Boba Fett trailer.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm the Kenobi trailer.
So excited for this Kenobi trailer, dude.
Honestly, that's like, it's got potential to be like the Batman trailer.
It has potential to be the Spider-Man trailer.
Oh, what if it's got Tobey Maguire in it though?
The next one.
Oh yeah, what if it's got Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in it? Imagine if that's the reveal. Disney Plus Day, they reveal a No Way Home trailer. Doesn't really reveal anything extra, and then the Kenobi trailer, Tobey Maguire swings in.
This is the one poor CGI worker who just like exported the wrong file on the project.
I'm really interested to see how long the Kenobi trailer is going to be, because honestly, all you need is just one shot of Ewan McGregor, and the whole world will just go crazy.
I think like it's going to be like a teaser. It can't be over like 30 seconds or like a minute maybe.
Yeah, because honestly, all I need to see is like Ewan McGregor in his robes, just sitting, like maybe just igniting a lightsaber. That would break the internet. And then
if he goes like, hello there.
Oh, that is so good. But dude, like, what if they show a shot of Darth Vader or something as well, though? Because obviously he's going to be in it.
Or even better, Hayden Christensen.
What if they show a shot of like those two in Clone Wars armor?
Oh my god. That would be erotic.
Some news that I just remembered that we haven't included is that Hayden Christensen's going to be in Ahsoka.
Yes.
I forgot about that until just now, but that is sick.
Full transparency, I'm definitely looking forward to the Obi-Wan series more than Ahsoka.
Yeah, so am I, but that's because I'm not super like in depth into the Clone Wars.
Me either. But even if I was, I'd probably be looking.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's more excited for.
Yeah, but that's still awesome though.
The thing about Ahsoka is it's taking place after Darth Vader's dead, so that means either Force Ghost or flashbacks or both.
I would go for both.
Imagine if it's just like Hayden Christensen's just like the helper. Just like for the appearing. Okay, I had a question for you, but I've got a few. If you could have like one character appear in the book of Boba Fett, who would you choose? Or are you not too bothered about cameos?
Geez, I don't know. I think the Book of Boba Fett is taking place. I don't know. Who do you have an idea for?
I don't know. You could bring in. I think it would be cool. Here's one. Donald Glover as Lando.
Oh, that could be really interesting.
Because there's a Lando show coming out as well, so that could work.
I feel like that's super probable, actually.
Yeah, that's one I just thought of. I really want to see Mace Windu again, but I don't think this would be the place to bring him back.
Jar Jar. You gotta wait for Jar Jar, man.
No, my answer is Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, there you go.
Or I think Lando would work really well as Donald Glover. And my other question is, if you could have anyone appear in Kenobi, who would it be? Do you have any choices? Because I have one, and it's the correct answer. If you don't choose this, you are incorrect.
Oh, well, I need to know your answer now.
Liam Neeson.
Dude, that would make you cry.
Just Force Ghost him. Imagine him just appearing as a Force Ghost. And like, what if he appears as a Force Ghost, like to Darth Vader? Or something like that.
That would be really cool. That'd be really cool.
Liam Neeson is my choice for that. And Donald Glover is my choice for Solo.
Yeah, you check out there. I'm not going to argue with you on that one because I agree with both those decisions.
On to some even better news, though.
Even the best news of the past couple of years. Chris Pratt.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah,
Tobey Maguire will appear in the Garfield movie.
Chris Pratt, Garfield. Why not?
I feel like this is a lot better casting than Mario.
Yeah, but it's even more of a meme now.
Yeah. If they announced this a few weeks ago, I don't think anyone would have reacted. I mean, massively, because I feel like he works as Garfield. I think it's very like kind of Andy Parks and Rec. Yeah. Mario is bizarre, but like it's just it's the combination of Mario and Garfield is just a bit too much, I think.
You know, I made a TikTok video about this.
Yeah.
My most successful TikTok of all time.
Was it? I saw it did well. How many views?
Let's see. Currently it is at 1.8 million.
It's cool. My wig video is on track to be my most successful video of all time, and I think it will become that from a few weeks ago. Chris Evans wearing a wig.
Chris, what?
When I was at Chris Evans wears a wig. We have talked about this one before.
He wears a wig?
Yeah, it's Captain America.
Oh, Chris Evans. Yes.
No, sorry. That's on track to be my most successful TikTok.
How many views does that have?
It's on 2.1 currently.
Damn.
I think my best 2.3, and that was like within a month of TikTok, and just haven't reached those.
That was a DVD one, right?
Yeah. Don't like that video. I can't stand it.
Why not?
I'm just whenever I watch like TikToks that like within like the first 5 or 6 weeks of me posting TikToks, I'm just like just low energy and awkward in them.
Dude, if you go back and look at my fun fact videos, like my first couple ones, they're terrible.
Yeah, you need high energy, and you're never ready for that when you start making videos, are you? Like,
no.
You gotta ramp up to that.
Not even high energy, but like literally like the camera's this right now. I'm like, here are some fun facts about Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Back when he was in a like, but
amazing you ever got anywhere on TikTok. I'm joking.
Okay, mister. if I stack up all my DVDs,
No,
what
it's not
sound
even
will
that.
they
If
make?
we're doing impressions of that, it's me going, I have 100 DVD. I'm going to do this, but with 100 DVDs. I've got some up here, some up here. The meme in that video, which always makes me laugh, is I get to like 80 DVDs and it nearly falls over. And what I say to the camera is, this is getting dangerous. And that makes me laugh every time.
All right.
Anyway, where were we? Garfield. Whatever. Who cares? Do what you want, Chris Pratt.
Reviews. Now we're getting onto the review segment.
Wow. What shall we review? I'm going to review. I'm just going to choose a movie out of thin air. Last Night in Soho.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's what the movie was.
Wow. 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 Edgar Wright. He's fine.
Okay. no
that
personal
comment,
bias.
I commented that on one of your TikToks and people enjoyed it.
So I want to hear your opinion because you're much more of an Edgar Wright fan than I am.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I think that people say that you can't have a good movie with a bad script, but I think this might just be that movie because I really, really love this movie. But like the script is kind of pants, and I know I've heard you say that, I've heard other people say this, that it doesn't feel very Edgar Wright, but I think I'd kind of disagree with that to an extent because yes, it doesn't have the kind of like quick cuts and stuff like that you'd expect from Edgar Wright, but it's still got all the kind of, it's got like the rhythm that you'd expect from Edgar Wright because I think that's his signature style. Is like the rhythm in all his directing.
No, right. When I was trying to say by that, it's like it definitely is an Edgar Wright movie, but if you look at it from like Shaun of the Dead, Baby Driver, it's gonna be a lot different. It's a much more different vibe than his other movies.
Yeah, but that's what I do love about Edgar Wright is that he has never done the same genre twice. Is that he does?
It's true.
And this is obvious. I would agree. This is definitely more different than anything else he's ever made. But what I love about Edgar Wright is that he just,
I love this movie. I mean, you said it was a bad script. Why would you?
No, not bad. Just not good. The weakest part of this for me was the script because you said in your review, like there's quite plot holes and there's like the ending doesn't completely work for me. And there's definitely more interesting things you could do with this kind of gimmick that the movie works off. Like I wouldn't say it's a bad script. I'm just saying for me, it's the weakest part of the movie.
I wouldn't say this in a weird way. This is the most Christopher Nolan-esque film Edgar Wright has ever done.
So there's a big twist at the end that doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, and it's a very strange, almost multi-dimensional thing going on. And I'm going to refer to Inception. Inception answers every single question you might have, and it makes the world that you're in so much more believable.
Yeah.
But for this, they never really explain how she can access these other dimensions.
I like that element of it, to be fair, of how they don't, because it's kind of I feel like we've talked about this recently with another movie. What have we talked about recently? Let me have a look, because I feel like recently I like how they just didn't explain that element of it overly, because you could very much get bogged down in that. Like Chronicle, that was it. We literally talked about last week. Kind of similar to that, where they didn't explain where the powers come from. I feel like that could bog down the movie a bit.
Well, I'm not even saying where the powers come from, but where I was fine with that. I was okay, so she's a medium. She can see dead people or dead people's stories. But I'm gonna get into spoilers here. If you haven't seen the movie,
spoilers. Go look at the thing down below.
But the Sandy isn't dead.
No, it's weird. And also some of it doesn't. She sees Sandy get stabbed.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like some of it's her imagination and some of it is what actually happens, because there's moments like where Matt Smith morphs into the old guy who isn't Matt Smith and that sort of thing. But okay, like, what do you think of the two twists in here of the Matt Smith not being the old man and Sandy being alive?
Matt Smith not being the old man, I think I really enjoyed.
I think that worked for me. Although it doesn't make sense massively, it still really worked for me.
What doesn't it make sense?
Well, it's just he says a lot of sinister things, and then you're kind of like, huh? What's he talking about?
Well, the reason why I was like, oh, that makes sense is because when Sam Claflin or whatever comes into the movie, do you know who Sam? That's the guy who plays the old man.
Yeah.
He was very strange. I'm like, this is a very oddly specific character that we only see for a minute.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the movie, I was like, that was weird. It was the old man. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That I was actually very pleased with that whole arc.
See, the thing that worked for this twist about me in a similar way, that they released a final trailer for this movie maybe like 2 months ago now, and I saw it and I went, nope, not going to watch that. And I had the same conversation with my friend who also really enjoys Edgar Wright, and he did the same thing. And he was like, yeah, not going to watch that trailer for this movie. And then it came on quite a few times when I was in the cinema. And in the cinema, there is like, it kind of tells you that the old man is Matt Smith, because there's a shot of Matt Smith and then it cuts to the old man. And then the old man says, and then it's the line where she goes, I know what you did. And then he goes, I've done a lot of things, sweetheart. You have to be more specific. And I'm like, oh. So and I was annoyed watching the trailer. I was like, I didn't want to know that. Why has this trailer told me that? But I think it worked overall for the twist, because I'm like, oh.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. And how did you feel about the second twist? I was a little disappointed, but like,
it kind of worked for the story, but something. So this movie has like kind of a message about sexual assault and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to reveal, you're kind of like, what's the message here? What am I supposed to take away from this? Do you know what I mean? Like because like it doesn't really fit. You're like, oh, so the woman was the bad guy. And it didn't go as bad as it could, but like, yeah, it wasn't super interesting.
And also like I was watching it and I'm like trying to like understand what their movie's trying to say, and also it's like, wait, so does she see memories? Does she see like the house? Like, I don't know. There's like so many things going on in my head, and I was just.
No, you're right. It's a tricky one. Is there?
But the song from this movie, Downtown,
the entire soundtrack,
so good. But that one specifically,
yeah. Obviously the soundtrack, and it's the kind of thing where this movie has kind of been built around certain songs as well. Like there's the song Eloise, and you're like, oh, so that's why the character is called Eloise, just so Edgar Wright could use this song and stuff like that. And it's got the same rhythm as all the Edgar Wright stuff. Like, it's edited amazingly, I think. And also there's some really cool like lighting and stuff like that in there as well.
I was not expecting this movie to be so scary.
Yeah.
It was. This is the first movie I've ever seen where I was just alone. Like, I didn't like bring anybody with me.
Yeah. Interesting choice for the first one. No, I went by myself the second time, and I was kind of like, oh. Yeah, I really, one of my favorite movies of the year, despite the previously mentioned errors. Should we move on to our next? What would you give that out of 10? Actually,
out of 10, I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. Maybe an 8.5.
I was going to say 8.5 as well. There you go.
I'm circling around there.
Yeah, 8.5. Okay, on to Dune. Big old
Dune.
Oscar Isaac is a very handsome man. That's what I've got to say about this movie. Moving on.
Let's move on. No, I've seen Dune twice.
Same.
And I liked it much more on the second viewing because I watched it at home. um with subtitles.
Uh-huh. See, I don't have the luxury to watch it at home.
Haha. No,
But
this movie,
I like it. I don't think it's amazing.
no, it was good. It wasn't amazing. I thought the story was good. It was really, I would have appreciated a synopsis and like kind of like a detailed plot before I went into the movie,
Yeah.
so I could kind of understand. Or because like during the movie, I was frantically trying to understand everything they were saying and like piece everything together, and I wasn't able to like take in the scope and cinematography of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think it's paced weirdly. I think like it spends too long on certain things and like amazing world building, but like it spends too long on some things and then it just rushes past other things. And I was a bit like, oh, is that? By the time I sat there, I was like, oh, is that the entire movie? Is that it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it didn't really. It wasn't like a super satisfying watch. Like definitely, it looked amazing. I think one of the best casts of any movie ever, perhaps, because there is
Hmm.
every person who's in this movie. You're like, oh wow, that person's here. I love Dave Bautista. I do love Dave Bautista.
I know you do.
Oscar Isaac, wow. But yeah,
Yeah, there's like things like the whole like Josh Brolin was barely in the movie,
yeah,
and like they definitely cut him out of it so they could have him in a sequel. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
There were like little things like that, and the ending was just extremely unsatisfying.
But yeah, yeah, I'd probably go 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Yeah. On to
Okay,
the main event.
main event:
Oh,
Eternals.
oh, I watched the wrong movie. And no, Eternals.
So you from what I saw, like a quick preview of what you thought about the movie, you really liked it.
I don't know if I like it. I don't think I'd go, I really like it. I think I've seen it twice now. I literally watched it like an hour before we recorded this, and I liked it less that time. But I don't think it's awful, and I don't think it's amazing. And I wouldn't it's good, I'd say. Just good.
I think when it comes to Marvel movies, like the second viewing really brings out the true colors of the movie.
Yeah. And this movie does have some amazing colors.
It does.
Some of the best colors of any Marvel movie, I think. Look at those suits, lovely colors on them.
There are some things the movie did really well,
Like the
and that's the
colors.
characters
Yeah.
and the
And
colors.
colors.
There are some things this movie did not do well. Um,
The
the
third act.
the you didn't like. Well, spoilers. First of all, spoilers. If you didn't
Spoilers.
like this, skip to the end where we say goodbye because this is the last thing we'll probably be talking about.
Yeah.
Spoilers. There are a couple. The deviant storyline.
Yeah. It's kind of I don't know. I feel people like before this came out, all the critics were saying, oh, like it's overstuffed and like bloated. And I don't know if I would use those words, but I think it was definitely trying to do too many things.
I think I said this in my spoiler review, and some people didn't agree with me, but I thought it was like the best way to handle the situation. I think if you took the deviants out,
Yeah.
there would be a much more interesting story there, and it would be a lot simpler. But the biggest problem, take the deviants out, the main character connected to the deviants was Thena, and like her issues with them.
Yeah.
So
I
I propose to cut her out of the movie.
I think, well, could you not just go, oh yeah, we killed all the deviants however many years ago, 500 years ago in the movie, and then just obviously you see the deviants in the flashbacks. Maybe chuck in one more flashback of them killing a bunch of deviants, and then surely you're fine just not putting anything about them in the present day, because I don't think any of them tie massively into that.
Right. And then they literally just make it like,
Maybe have Thena kill Gilgamesh.
yeah,
You can have Thena kill Gilgamesh, Icarus kill Ajax.
And like the thing, like Icarus would have still had a reason to kill Ajax because Ajax still wanted to save the
Yeah, and you
planet.
could just go, oh, the team came together because there's more earthquakes and just chucking more stuff like that.
Or they could really even make like Thena the proposed antagonist. Like Icarus can be like Thena killed Ajax.
Yeah. And
So,
then Thena's like, oh, I don't remember that. And then that works. Yeah, that's good. We're silver lining this. I think that works.
yeah.
But I don't know. What doesn't work about the third act for me was there wasn't much of a struggle. Like it's kind of like the thing where they go. There's a bit earlier on in the movie where Cersei goes, "Oh, I don't know how to talk to Aramash or whatever he's called," and then Gilgamesh just goes, "Oh, have you tried trying harder?" And then she goes, "Okay, I'll try that." And then she does it, and then she does it, and that's kind of what happens in the end of the movie. They're like, "Oh, what can we do?" And then Phastos is like, "Oh, I've built these things," and like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And then they use those things, and it works. And then Cersei just goes, "Oh, okay, I'll just." Done. Like there wasn't much of a struggle there. It was kind of just
Yeah, and literally the whole fight with Icarus is like he got to the ground. They gave time for Thena to kill a deviant with like a swift stroke, and then Icarus was about to fight Cersei, and he was like, "I forgot I love you," and then he flew into the sun, and then that was it.
I do like Icarus though. I think I don't have as big of a problem as flying into the sun as people do.
I really enjoyed Icarus. I just thought that quick
Yeah,
of a switch didn't work for me.
but I think they could have at least had a conversation.
Yeah,
But instead he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bye," and then he flies away. But the thing is, they just assumed that he flew into the sun. They don't know that. And then Sprite goes, "Oh, is he dead?" And Cersei's like, "Yeah. Remember that story you made up? Well, yeah, he just went and did that. That's your fault, Sprite."
and also a big problem with the third act that I have. I don't remember his name. I remember the actor's name. Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh, Kingo, yeah, just leave.
Kingo. He's what the hell?
That's got to be like a scheduling conflict or something, surely.
It has to be something like that. It's so strange. Why does he just leave?
And it would have been fine if they kind of talked about it more. Do you know what I mean? This is another one of those moments where, like, if Icarus had just had another conversation with Cersei, I would have been like, yeah, that's fair enough. But if Kingo just had like maybe a minute long like dialogue about, oh yeah, I had to leave, and then do it again at the end where he's like, oh sorry, I left.
Yeah.
And then include a shot of him just like filming the Bollywood movie, then going into the uni mind. That would have been cool as well.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
Now I'm gonna get into something I was really disappointed with the movie.
Go on.
Really disappointed. And it's my own fault.
Tobey Maguire isn't in it.
No. At the end of Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Is it the
post-credit scene?
Yeah.
They were like something, this is not of this world. The 10 rings. And I was like, oh, that is probably Eternal stuff. Didn't get too hyped about it. And then they mentioned 10 rings in the movie, and they're like, we need to make 10 rings. How are we going to get 10 rings? And
I don't think it is 10, but yeah.
No, it is.
Because Ajax won't have one, surely it's 8 rings.
Well, still.
No, I know what you mean. I definitely thought the same thing. I was like, wait, are they making the 10 rings now?
And I was like, they have that in my head, it was, oh my god, it has to be Shang-Chi. And I don't know why it wasn't. They just made bracelets? Are you kidding me?
I really think they should have just gone, oh, we need to make 10 necklaces.
Yeah.
Just say that. Do you know what I mean?
Because
10 little tiaras.
Yeah. So then that made me sad. And then let's talk about the post-credit scenes.
Sure. I was just gonna.
Oh yeah, go for
it. I see a lot of people disliking Sprite online.
Yeah.
I didn't have a massive problem with her.
Me either.
Did you see the TikTok I made about her?
No.
Basically, I said everyone's insulting her, but one thing we can all agree is that the performance was amazing. Bearing in mind when she filmed this, she was like 12 years old.
Yeah, I think she was. The performance was amazing, and
Because
this.
you really thought she was like an actual adult who was 7,000 years old.
Right.
And she was 12. That's so young.
I did not take her as like annoying or anything. I thought of her like a troubled spirit in a kid's body.
And I kind of like I didn't have any. I understand why people would find like the Icarus like crush weird, but I didn't find it weird really.
I thought it was done well and innocently. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was weird really. I understand why people do, but
So post credit scenes.
yeah, first one with Harry Styles,
and
we all knew this was coming.
We all knew this was coming. I was astonished at how bad the CGI was on that Patton Oswalt character.
Pip the Troll.
It looked like a PS4 cutscene.
I think that's kind of just the end credit scene, though. Do you know what I mean? They kind of like.
Yeah, that's fair, but it still looked garbage.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely look better when he's back.
That should be interesting.
It's a bit of a confusing one because Eros is an Eternal and he's Thanos' brother in the comics, but Thanos is a deviant in the comics, and clearly he's not here. There's if we sorry to talk about the movie again, but just the Celestials plan was garbage. Like there's so many things they could have done better. Do you know what I mean? Like no, okay. Why would you tell any of them the truth to begin with? Either you tell all of them the truth or none of them the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
If you send them to this planet and they keep all their memories and they're like, oh, this is just another, 7,000 years on the clock. Let me just clock in and then get out of it. Like that would be way better. Or just tell none of them. And just small things like that. And why would you, if you were like, oh, these people aren't allowed to interfere with human lives, why do you give one of them the power that the only thing they can do with it is interfere with humans? Like there's literally nothing else Druig can use his power for. Like that's not very helpful for anyone. Just stuff like that. I'm a bit just Celestials, what are you doing, mate? Have none of them ever and it's kind of like, are these the first Eternals to ever do that? Because it kind of feels like it. Well, obviously not because Harry Styles is kicking about, but yeah.
Yeah.
Great cast, though.
What do you say?
Great cast.
Great cast. Yeah, I don't have an issue with any cast members. Yeah, Druig standout role. Forgot to mention that.
I really like Makari.
Oh yeah, Makari's good.
And I really like Gilgamesh as well. I think just a big, tender, strong man,
But Druig is my favorite.
Fair enough. I did a big gasp. This is true. My friend laughed at me afterwards when he dropped his pie.
I did too.
Because I was watching it and I was like, that pie looks so good. And then he dropped it and I kind of like tensed up. And then there was the second delay and I was tensed up and then he dropped it and I went, the pie. I felt heartbroken. I felt more sad about that pie than when Gilgamesh died.
Jesus Christ. In the final end credit scene.
The Ebony Blade.
Ebony Blade.
And Blade.
Which I thought was interesting.
I'm looking forward to him Black Knighting about.
Do you know what Black Knight is supposed to be in?
I guess Blade now. But then the other rumor is that Blade is going to be in Moon Knight. So he could be in Moon Knight.
I think that would make most sense.
I wouldn't surprise me if he gets his own thing either.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. It is Kit Harington.
Yeah, and also, I was kind of hoping, just because it would be so dumb, that they'd do a Captain Britain and Black Knight TV show, because they're like pals. I think that would be so funny.
Captain Britain is awesome.
Captain Britain and Black Knight are pals. And also, I think it's funny because in the comics, Blade is just like a white like a white Londoner. And I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if Blade is still a Londoner in this? And he's like, all right, we'll go get some fish and chips.
Block Night, Captain Britain.
Captain Britain would be funny, but